Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this lecture, we will continue workshop lab from machine shop section. As you have already covered fitting shop and welding shop, now we will learn about some important machines used for metal fitting. The machines we are going to study in this section are almost used in every industry because of variety of operations that can be done upon them. Now, starting with the lecture first, we will learn about what is importance of machine shop. As you are done with fitting shop, where you have done filing, cutting, sewing, finishing, and other similar processes manually with the help of hand tool. Now, in addition to that, you will learn some new processes that will be done with the help of machine. Utilizing machine will give you benefit like heavy metal work can be done easily. It will be time saving and most of the all, the finishing will be very good, which cannot be achieved manually. There are various types of machine like shaper machine, lathe machine, power machine, and power hexa machine. First, we will discuss about the lathe machine. A lathe machine is known as mother of machine due to its versatile of mechanical operation range. Like you can do cutting, facing, drilling, threading, boring. All these processes can be done with the help of lathe machine by using its different tools. Now for every machine there are two main things. One is workpiece and other is its tool. The required operation is done with the help of relative motion of these two. In lathe machine, our tool remains stationary while workpiece rotates, while in shaper machine and milling machine, the tool moves while the workpiece remains stationary. This slide covers some detail about how workpiece and tools are clamped. For holding workpiece, chuck is used, which is fitted onto the spindle of the lathe machine. As discussed earlier, in lathe machine the workpiece revolves. So as the spindle moves, the chuck moves and in turn the workpiece rotates. And for holding cutting tool, there is tool post. Four different tools can be adjusted on tool post. The tool post is mounted on the carriage, which is movable. The tool can be fed onto the work either lengthwise or crosswise, according to the desired operation. Like in facing and parting, the tool is moved in crosswise direction, while in turning and taper turning, the cutting tool is moved in lengthwise direction along the workpiece. This slide shows the parts of a lathe machine, the details of which are covered in the coming slides. Now starting with the bed, bed is an essential part of the lathe and it carries all parts of the machine. It must be strong so that it can bear weight and the applied forces. Bed provides a sliding track for carriage known as the wheel on which the tool post moves. Bed is normally made up of cast iron because of its self-lubricating property. Lathe machines are often characterized by the length of the bed, like 8 feet, 10 feet, and 12 feet. Another important part of the lathe machine is headstock, which holds the spindle. The chuck is mounted to that spindle, and with the help of the chuck, the rotating motion is given to the workpiece. In the headstock, gear assembly is present. With the help of these gears, different RPMs can be set according to the desired value with the help of gear lever. Another important thing is that the headstock must be vibration free. For this purpose, the aligned precision bearings are used. Just opposite to the headstock, there is tailstock. The main purpose of tailstock is to support the right hand end of the long workpiece. It can be slided on the bed and the position of the tailstock can be adjusted according to the length of the workpiece. Besides support to the workpiece, the tailstock can also be used for drilling and boring purposes. As discussed earlier, the tool post is mounted on carriage. Beside tool post, carriage houses the saddle, cross slide and apron. The function of carriage is to position the tool along the length bed according to the workpiece with the help of saddle and cross slide. Cross slide is perpendicular to the center of the lathe. and it provides cutting motion to the tool, like used for facing and parting operation. And compound slide moves in circular path. It is used for taper turning processes. The carriage is controlled manually with the help of carriage handle. Compound rest is used to move the tool at some angle with respect to workpiece. It is mostly used in taper turning operation and also sometimes in grooving operation. This is the compound rest where you can see the tool is sliding but at some angle, not perpendicular to the workpiece. It is used in taper turning. Tool post is used for holding the tools and sometimes the tool holder to which the tool is mounted. There are four different vacant positions for tools in the tool post. It means at one time four different tools can be mounted on the tool post, which can be easily changed by rotating the tool post 90 degrees. The one important thing should be checked that when adjusting the tools, the height of the workpiece and tools must be checked in parallel so that the required finishing will not be affected. Lead screw is also known as power screw or translation screw. It is used to translate the turning motion of the spindle into linear motion. Normally, it is used for automatic feeding or for cutting threads with high precision and good finish. There are two centers known as dead center and live center. As the name suggests, the dead center does not rotate. It is positioned in the tailstock and it supports the workpiece. While the live center, it is also known as the revolving center. It does rotate with the workpiece and it allows for higher turning speeds and greater clamping pressures. Up till now we have discussed the parts of the lathe machine. Now we will discuss about some holding devices used for holding the workpiece. The first one is three-jaw chuck. Three-jaw chuck is self-centered. It closes or opens with respect to the chuck center or spindle center. It is used for holding regular and symmetrical objects like round bar, hexagonal rods, and square rods. The four-jaw chuck has strong grip than three-jaw chuck. Four-jaw chuck is used for holding unsymmetrical objects. In four-jaw chuck, the every jaw can be adjusted according to the workpiece. Thus, it provides more clamping force than the three-jaw chuck, which is self-centered. Faceplate is also an important clamping device. It is used when the workpiece cannot be mounted on the regular chucks. Faceplates have some accessories like bolt, nut and screw, with the help of which the irregular shape object can be mounted on the faceplate, which in turn can be adjusted to the spindle. For example, if we want to do some mechanical operation on a flat disc, it cannot be mounted directly onto the spindle. So we use faceplate. With the help of faceplate, it can be mounted to the spindle of the lathe machine. Lathe togs are also known as lathe carriers, are clamped around the workpiece and are used for transfer the rotatory motion of the machine spindle to the workpiece. For example, here you can see that this is the lathe tog and it is attached to the spindle of the machine. Now what it is doing, it is transferring the rotating motion of the spindle to this workpiece, which is held in between the centers of the lathe machine. While working on lathe machine, these are the some instruments used for taking dimension. You have already used these instruments in your workshop. These are outside and inside calipers, vernier caliper, and micrometers. Outside caliper is used to take the external diameter of the round or similarly circular objects. With help of this screw, you can adjust the dimension of the caliper and then can match it with the proper scale for taking the dimension of the workpiece. Similarly, inside calipers are used for taking the inside diameter of the tube or a channel. This is the vernier caliper which you all are well familiar with. It has external jaws for external diameter, internal jaws, and the depth measuring blade for taking the depth or internal height of any object. Similarly, like vernier caliper, micrometers are used to measure the diameter of the small objects and also the thickness of the small workpiece. following cutting parameters are used in the terminology of lathe machine. These are cutting speed, feed, depth of cut, tool materials and tool geometry. Being engineer, you must be aware of these parameters, as they will govern your surface finish, material removal rate, and so production time. The life of tool also depends on these parameters. So while operating lathe, an engineer must have these parameters calculated before. Details and formulas for them are given in coming slide. Also, when selecting tool, always select tool harder than your workpiece, otherwise it will damage the tool. The cutting speed is defined as the rate at which material is removed from the workpiece. It is also defined as the rate at which the workpiece moves with respect to the tool. The formula of cutting speed is given below. Its unit is meter per minute. Cutting speed for some common materials are given below. Remember that these charts are for HSS tools. Care should be taken while using other tools because the cutting speed varies for every tool. It is specific for specific tool. Feed rate is defined as the distance traveled by the tool in linear direction while workpiece completes one complete rotation. Cutting speed and feed rate together defines the finishing power requirement and material remove rate of the workpiece. Here are some recommended feed rates for common materials like mild steel and cast iron. And now you can see that there are two types of cut, roughing cut and finishing cut. Normally what we do before working, we will give the first cut as rough cut to remove the excess material from the workpiece. And the second cut will be our finishing cut in which we will compensate for the tool pressure, and the third cut will be the final touching cut. In this cut you will give the final finish to the workpiece. Depth of cut is the distance that a tool bit moves into the work. It is used for reducing the diameter or for removing the excess material from the workpiece. Usually it is in millimeters or in thousands of inches. And now we will discuss about different tool materials. Different tools are used according to different situation and with respect to different workpiece. Most commonly used are carbon steel tools. They are relatively cheap than others. They have high hardening properties and have high wear resistance. HSS tools are used for cutting purposes. They are mostly used in power saw blade, drill bits, and similarly other cutting operations. They have high resistance to the temperature. They can work on high temperature without deforming. Similarly, carbide cutting tools are used as metal cutting tools for a wide range of materials on CNC lathes, turret lathes, vertical turret lathes, engine lathes, and checkers. Carbide tip tools are most efficient, cost-effective, longer working life, and they can give a surface finish quality better than other tools. Here you can see that tools may have different geometries according to their use. For different purpose, there are specific tools. Like the first, these two tools are used for cutting purposes. Tools may are generally characterized as left hand or right hand tool. Normally the direction of left hand tool is away from the spindle. Like you can see that its direction is pointed away from the spindle and towards the tailstock. And the right hand tool, its direction is toward the spindle and away from the tailstock. Generally, the right hand cutting tool cuts from while moving from right to left, and the left hand tool it cuts from while moving from left to right. These tools are the roughing tools. They are also known as single point cutting tools. They have a sharp, small radius nose, like you can see it here. They are used for deep cuts and rapid material removal from the workpiece. This one is the parting tool. It cuts the workpiece into two parts by slicing a groove all the way through it. They are generally made up of HSS thin blades, but sometimes carbide tips is also inserted to make them more hard. They are costly than normal or ordinary parting tools. Now, this one is the boring tool. It is used to enlarge the internal diameter of pre-drilled hole by removing the material from inside of the workpiece. This one is the screw cutting tool. It is used to make thread on the workpiece, like screw and other feed screw. This is accomplished by gearing the lead screw to the spindle with a certain gear ratio for each thread pitch. It can be done by adjusting the degree of spindle with the linear motion of the workpiece, with the linear motion of the tool, depending upon the desired thread pitch. Up till now, we have covered the detail about lathe machine parts, its cutting parameters, and now we will discuss the mechanical operations that can be carried out on lathe machine. As discussed earlier, lathe machine is known as mother of machines. Here you can see the large number of operations can be performed in lathe machine, like turning, facing, boring, threading. Almost it covers every single mechanical operation. A lathe machine is widely used in several industrial segments and especially in metal shaping industries. There are specific tools for specific operation as discussed in the previous slides. Like for boring there is separate drill bit, and for facing there is a separate tool. For knurling there is separate tool. So with variable tools we can perform versatile nature of mechanical operations on lathe machine. Turning is a machining process used to make cylindrical parts in which the cutting tool moves in a linear fashion while the workpiece rotates. Generally in turning, it reduces the diameter of the workpiece to a specified dimension and produces a smooth part finish. For every lathe operation, care should be taken that a cutting tool or parting tool which we are using should be harder than the material of the workpiece, so that it can be able to cut the workpiece into the desired shape. For every mechanical operation on lathe machine, uh, for good finish, we will use two type of cut. The one is roughing cut and the second one is finishing cut. The objective of rough cut is to remove bulk amount of excess material from the workpiece in every pass. This can be done with the high feed rate and with more depth of the cut size. In this case, the material removed rate will be high, but the surface roughness will be very rough or poor. An old cutter can be utilized for the roughing purposes. After roughing cut is the finishing cut. The objective of finishing cut is to improve surface finish, dimensional accuracy and tolerance. This can be done by using very low feed rate, and the material remove rate in this cut is very low, but surface roughness will be good and the surface finish is also with accurate. It can provide high dimensional accuracy and close tolerance. For this purpose, use sharp cutter and with a good finish tip. In machining process, boring is the process of enlarging a hole that has already been drilled by means of a single point cutting tool or boring tool. Boring is used in process like in boring of a gun barrel or in boring the engine cylinder. Similarly, it is also used to cut a tapered hole. Boring can be compared with turning, like in turning, we remove the material from outside of the workpiece, reducing the outer diameter, while in boring, we remove the material from inside of the workpiece, enlarging the internal diameter of the workpiece. There are two types of boring machine. The one is horizontal boring machine and the other one is vertical boring machine, in which the tool moves in the vertical direction, while in horizontal boring machine, the tool moves in the horizontal direction. Facing is the process of removing metal from the end of the workpiece to produce a flat surface. Sometimes the end point of the workpiece are not so good, so they may be irregular in shape. So by facing we can remove that part of from the workpiece and then machining process can be applied. Normally cylindrical objects are used, but with the help of forge chuck we can also do the facing operation on rectangular or odd shape work to form cubes and other non-cylindrical parts. Facing basically reduces the length of the workpiece. In taper turning, the diameter of the workpiece uniformly changes from one end to another end. Like in this picture, we can see that the diameter is continuously decreasing from left to the right end of the workpiece. Tapers can be either internal or external. If a workpiece is tapered on the outside, it has an external taper. Similarly, if it is tapered on the inside, it has an internal taper. This can be done with the help of the boring tool. Normally for taper turning or outer taper turning, the compound threads of the lathe machines are used. Drilling is operation of producing a cylindrical hole in the workpiece. It is done by rotating the workpiece opposite to the drill bit. Like you can see in this picture, this is the workpiece held in the chuck, and this is the drill bit which is held in the tailstock. Now what we will do, we will move the tailstock towards the workpiece, which then drills the workpiece with the help of this drill bit. At the end of the drilling operation, a ribbing process is used. With the help of trimmer, we can finish the drilled hole. Knurling is the process of impressing a diamond shape or straight line pattern into the surface of a workpiece by using specially shaped hardened metals. Like you can see in this picture, this is the knurling tool, which is importing its pattern on this workpiece. Knurling process is used to improve the appearance of the workpiece or to provide better gripping surface. There are different types of knurling tools which are classified according to the types of patterns produced on the workpiece, like straight knurling, cross knurling, or spiral knurling. A knurling process is always done on the finished product. When all the machining process is completed, then at the end, knurling process is done on the workpiece. A chamfering is the operation of beveling or rounding the extreme end of the workpiece. The form tool used for the taper turning may be used for this purpose. Chamfering is an essential process which must be applied after the workpiece is finished from other mechanical operations. Chamfering is used to remove the sharp edges which may be formed during other processes. Also, while cutting thread, the chamfering process must be applied so that the nut may pass freely on the threaded workpiece. Threading is used to make threads on the cylindrical workpiece. For this purpose, automatic feed screw is used to slide the tool against the workpiece. For threading, the pitch is calculated first. Then, according to the required pitch, with the help of the thread and feed chart given on the lathe machine, we adjust the compound rest angle and the RPM of the lathe machine. Both left-hand and right-hand threads can be made on lathe machine by adjusting the relative motion of the tool and the workpiece. Now these are some safety precautions which must be kept in mind before working on any machine. Remember that the safety order. Your safety comes first, then the safety of your machine, then the safety of your tool, and then the safety of your workpiece. So while working, please pay attention. Do not work in rush or do not make crowd around the machine. Always know where the emergency stop button is. So in case of emergency, don't be panic. Always turn off the machine with emergency off button. And these are some other precautions which must you take care of. Please go through them.